Excuse me, 911, I'd like to report a murder. I don't know if you guys caught that town hall last night. Chances are you at least seen a couple of clips from it because, it was very meme worthy. And that right there was peak 2016 Donald Trump back on that stage. The dude was feeling himself 1000%, and that is the authentic dude that I've come to love and appreciate. And if he's going to be carrying that exact same energy through the next year and a half, it's going to be a fun old time that's out there, especially the type of people that he likes to upset with this stuff. And we got a couple of reactions off of this. Now, for the town hall itself, reacting to it, I'm thinking Saturday or Sunday, we're going to be doing it, mostly because in my neck of the woods, I was fully anticipating at least having the opportunity to react to it live, but, well, it was on CNN. I don't have cable television. I don't have a way to sign in through my cable provider in order to get CNN streaming because Canada's big stupid when it comes to this stuff, but had to wait until after the fact, and after the fact, well, might as well at that point in time not even bother streaming on an off day. So yeah, either Saturday or Sunday, and like I said, either or, because, well, CNN, I don't know about their copyright gimmick, so got to kind of see how that ends up working out, but there's so much stuff that was in there. And for the longest time, I thought that the best display on holding your frame on television by a guy being under constant pressure and in an adversarial situation was Patrice O'Neill on Fox News with the head of New York's Organization of Women. I thought that was the best display that I've seen for the longest time, but that town hall, man, that was peak Trump. That was the best that I think I've probably ever seen him perform, if we're going to be completely honest. It might even be better, and we might have to run back that town hall debate. That's why I'm saying either Saturday or Sunday, because there's a whole bunch of stuff that we can put into there depending on what I want to do. And then there's also some other stuff, but I'll leave that up to a vote. You might see a poll drop tonight for what we're going to do over the weekend when it comes to streams. But without further ado, everybody who checked it out live, you were definitely in for a treat. And so was CNN because, well, for the first time in a long time, people actually tuned into their network. But this was probably really bad for CNN. Not for the reasons for the rhinos and idiots that we're going to talk about here, because this is just going to be all about the reaction to the town hall. And I got one clip because it's just funny as fuck. But CNN getting this high, it's like a kid who starts a YouTube channel and then immediately gets a hit video and then just follows it up with nothing in the aftermath. There's no substance. There's no path to follow in order to figure out, okay, why did this hit right now? This is the worst overnight success type situation. I know it sounds funny for a name that's been recognized in news for a long time, but they've been dying on the vine forever. And the only reason that they had relevancy was because they put probably the most famous man on earth on your channel. So yeah, of course you were going to get big numbers off of this. How are you going to follow it up? Continuing to do reactions and show how your chosen leftist proxy was going to just wilt under the immense pressure? It was a failing policy, and apparently some people at CNN are revolting, but we might touch on that later. That's not what we want to talk about right here, but CNN's Trump town hall yields ratings 5 times higher than the typical night. So did that mean they cracked 1 million viewers? Not entirely sure. CNN's Wednesday town hall featuring former President Donald Trump reportedly yielded ratings about 5 times higher than the network's typical viewership in the 8 p.m. hour among 25 to 54 age demographic. Oh, okay, so we're talking demo numbers here. The network scored 3.12 million viewers and 703,000 viewers in the 25 to 54 age demographic. Yo, that's huge numbers, because we took a look when it was the Tucker Carlson stuff, and CNN, regardless of their show, regardless of who was hosting their banal coverage, they couldn't crack 1 million viewers. Trump just put them over that mark thrice over. In recent weeks, CNN's primetime average hung around 500,000 viewers. Yeah, I was being generous by saying couldn't crack 1 million, could barely crack 500,000, well behind Fox and MSNBC. That's 5 times higher than CNN's typical performance at 8 p.m. Brian Stelter tweeted that event outdated Fox and MSNBC. Oh my God, my former employer did something really good. Could you guys hire me back? Nobody cares, Potato Man. Just fucking stay over there. About 1.41 million people viewed Fox News, and while MSNBC had 1.37 million during Tucker Carlson era, Fox News drew about 3 million each night. And yeah, imagine, because I watched some of Crowder's coverage. He just kind of babbled over top of everything and had unfunny skits, but he tried something different, and he floated out the idea, which I kind of thought was a pretty decent idea to begin with. It's like, okay, why would you do this to CNN? Like, you're kind of kneecapping yourself that's going to be over there. You knew exactly what was going to be coming out of this, other than, yeah, you had an easy opportunity to dunk on CNN, even though they tried real hard in order to set up some things that would make them at least a little bit inculcated from any of the obvious criticism that they would be facing. Like, okay, you put a reasonably attractive young woman that's going to be up there. If Trump goes too hard against her, she would look terrible, but I guess they didn't factor in the fact that she would come across as the biggest Karen on the night, so it kind of throws any defense completely under the bus. Like I was saying before, yeah, CNN's going to get a big boost. I'm sure tonight they'll just be back to normal. They'll be back to normal, even though they'll be covering, oh, did you see those divisive remarks that Trump made? Because the rest of the people in the mainstream media, like, yo, take a look at this in intelligence here. Trump's CNN town hall was a mega rally. Yeah, you had Trump there. Of course he was going to talk Trump things. It was supposed to be a presidential town hall, the Republican primary town hall, the kickoff to the presidential election season of 2024. Trump was awful. CNN was worse. From the soapbox. Okay. USA Today. CNN town hall audience laughs at sexual assault as Trump reminds us how awful he is. Sexual assault, what are you referring to? The sexual battery that he was found liable of in a civil suit. Oh, interesting framing on that. Slate. Donald Trump CNN town hall was a disaster. For who? The Daily Breast. CNN failed America with its train wreck of a Trump town hall. See all of the exact same stuff. MSNBC, that one's kind of weirdly cropped. Why CNN's town hall has was always doomed to fail. I'm not entirely sure what that's supposed to be, but funnily cropped. And then, yeah, CNN Trump town hall live network under fire for shameful platforming of Trump disinformation. He's the former president, you dorks. And then, yeah, The Guardian. Dear CNN, giving Trump a town hall platform is the, I don't know, probably height of the downfall of mud democracy or whatever the hell they want to go with. But in other Trump news, and one of the first points that he did talk about, it didn't take up as much time as I thought it was going to when it came to the town hall itself. But it was, yeah, either the first or the second talking point that they got to was the John Carroll case. And Trump was just so hilarious, and yeah, the crowd was laughing at the absurdity of this woman's claims. Like, she is absolutely verifiably insane. She has a cat named Vagina. That's just not taking a Trump talking point. That's verifiable. Her cat's name is Vagina Fireball, for God's sakes. Like, she's out of her gourd, out of her goddamn mind. Probably makes for some excellent fiction that she writes. She's an author after all, so she can definitely spin a tale. Trump to appeal the $5 million judgment in John Carroll case as writer mulls suing the ex-president again. For what? For what? To run his pockets even further? He just appealed. And it's going to be interesting because you're trying to make the big accusation, okay? You're trying to make the EPAR accusation right there on top of things, but you couldn't prove it. When Trump's side didn't even put up a defense at all, whatsoever. And you sued in the most favorable district to you in New York City. Like, come on, lady. I could file again because they didn't lose. I don't know what double jeopardy looks like in civil cases, but you had the laws changed for you when it comes to the statute of limitations for this situation, just to afford for you to file this case to begin with, because Orange Man bad. But last night during the town hall, Orange Man was fucking rad.
I think is why you held on to those documents when you knew the federal government was seeking them and then had given you a subpoena to return them.
Are you ready? Are you ready? Can I talk?
Yeah, what's the answer?
Do you mind?
I would like for you to answer the question.
Okay.
Excuse me, can I just, let me answer, okay? Listen, they tell me a lot of things about you, and I knew a lot when I was coming out here, but I couldn't quite anticipate what I need to tell you next. Somebody has to put you in your place.
It's very simple to answer.
That's why I asked it.
It's very simple. You're a nasty person, I'll tell you that.
I think is one.
Yo, just the fact that she stands there, it's like, I didn't anticipate that. You're a nasty person. He's like, just done. It was so great, and I can't wait to go over that town hall in full detail, body language analysis. Trump just going, you're not even worth my time. Him staring out at the audience, very rarely addressing her head on. It was so goddamn great. And I don't know, maybe it was the fact that I watched way too much Fresh and Fit lately. Okay, that's another topic, something that they were discussing yesterday that I think would make for an interesting stream topic. But regardless, they're trying to say, oh, it was a calamity. Oh, there was so much back and forth. It was Kaitlan Collins trying to think that she was going to be in the center of this star-making performance that she was going to have. But in actuality, she just got steamrolled by the Trump train, the likes of which we haven't seen for a very, very long time. But it's so funny. She becomes this very staunch person, but when she was on Fox News, man, it's so funny. It's so funny. Here's Kaitlan Collins outlining how George Soros is behind the Great Replacement theory. Wait, what? No, wait, no, yeah, because she used to work at the Daily Caller, Tucker Carlson's outlet, but then she went over to a place that was more ideologically aligned with her. It's almost like she's an old leaf in the wind, but let's just hear. Maybe she doesn't believe, okay, what she's talking about right now. Maybe it's just a paycheck.
From our nation's capital. Kaitlyn, what does that mean? What's George Soros trying to do with the immigration crisis?
Okay.
Good morning. Okay, so George Soros is this foreign-born left-wing guy who essentially wants to change the nature of our country. And in this data...
What a strong jawline. Very thin lips. Strong jawline, though.
One of the memos was about the refugee crisis. And they made 3 points. They think that they've been successful at influencing immigration policy across the world. They think that the refugee crisis is an opportunity to continue doing so. And they think the refugee crisis is the new normal. And George...
Oh no, and what just ended up coming out today? Oh right, Title 42 just ended. Oh boy, okay.
Soros is this guy who's a staunch advocate for open borders. He wants people to be able to go wherever they want, whenever they want, for whatever reason. And for him, he sees this immigration policy, this crisis, as a vehicle to further his immigration agenda.
From our nation.
She's not very articulate, even though she's reading something completely off of a teleprompter. So it's interesting. It's interesting because we're going to see an eventuality over the weekend whether she believes what she's talking about when she's facing Trump, when she's saying, that's not true. That's not true. People debunk that. Stop lying. There's no proof of that. Or when she's talking about how bad George Soros and open borders are. Who knows? Her opinions and maybe her thoughts are just all bought and sold, like many other thoughts that are out there. But let's take a look at some of the reaction that's out there. So we have Never Back Down, a DeSantis pack. Interesting. Okay. So here was their response. Here was their response to the CNN town hall. On CNN tonight, Trump spent an hour talking about, that was a little more than an hour. Couple of three different commercial breaks, but it was mostly just uninterrupted Trump being, well, Trump, what he did or didn't do on January 6th, whether he will pardon people who harmed police officers. Okay, how the 2020 election was drill rigged, right? Whether he supports terminating part of the U.S. Constitution or the whole thing because the 2020 election was fracked. The sex abuse case he was found guilty in, a cat named Vagina. His defense of his comments about grabbing women by their genitalia. In the federal investigation into a stash of taxpayer-owned classified documents at Mar-a-Lago. The investigation into his efforts to reverse the 2020 loss to Biden in Georgia. How does this make America great again? Well, in a town hall format, you can only answer the questions that you're asked, but that's supposed to be a Ron DeSantis pact, huh? But, oh no, Ron's taking the high road when it comes to this. Yo, man, listen, the way the Columbia Bugle puts it out is 1,000% correct. Indistinguishable from lib Twitter. Yo, 1,000%. We just go and take a look at the headlines one more time. How's that? That could fit right into any of those articles that's right up there. Oh, it was just a disaster. Trump's the bad man. He's terrible. Okay. But AOC was definitely the star on the night. Like, this was during the town hall itself. Like, it wasn't even halfway over and she already had the emotional damage on full display. CNN should be ashamed of themselves. They have lost total control of this town hall to again be manipulated into platforming election disinformation, defenses of January 6th, and the public attack on sexual abuse victims. What sexual abuse? Sexual battery. Liable of sexual battery. The audience and defamation. So lying about committing an act that she said that Trump committed back in 1996, but then the jury didn't even find him, liable of committing that act back in 1996. But he's found liable of the defamation of the act that he didn't commit. Okay, make that one make sense. But it's all sexual abuse, right? This falls squarely on CNN. Anyone here thought exactly what was going to happen? Yeah, we did. That's why everybody tuned in, because we all love a slow motion car accident. Instead, they put a sexual abuse victim in harm's way for views. She kind of did, by going around to different various media outlets telling her tall tale, but okay. This was the choice. The platform lies about the election in January 6th with no plan but to have their moderator interrupted without consequence. Now, bro, she was interjecting herself so much, but if that's all you took away, my sexism, my believe all women, it's so good people like that are in Congress. Sheesh. But that's all right. We're an equal opportunity hater. We went from the tallest to the shortest. We're just doing this, ranked on height, okay? Not by sex or gender. Because clearly, if we went by breast size, we're saving the biggest boob for last. CNN did Trump a massive favor last night, and everybody knows it. Here's why. CNN did Trump a favor? Bruh, you got that switched around. Ben Shapiro's not neocon meter. Well, no, he's a full-blown, so that one would actually be redlining at this point in time. But his Never Trump meter, it's starting to fill up. I think it probably crossed 50%, but when it comes to Daily Wire reporting this stuff, it took them 6 hours after the town hall in order to have a single statement on it, when they all of a sudden started to become this objective news outlet by saying that Trump, I'll pull up the exact tweet actually, because yeah, combative Trump spars with CNN anchor over election claims, documents in town hall. That was their only tweet. That was their only tweet about this, and that came, earlier today? Interesting. Okay, yeah, all of a sudden Daily Wire becomes an objective outlet, Never Trump meter, at about 50% right now. Could be a little higher. I could be convinced. But here's the rest of what Ben's sparkling insights are. God damn it, man. This town hall was billed as a Republican primary town hall, which means that presumably Trump should have been asked about issues Republican voters care about. Yeah, election and integrity. What's he going to do about inflation? What do you think about the weaponization of the judiciary? Republican voters care about that stuff, but let's hear what old neocon Ben Bush has to say about this. Like, say, Fauci and COVID. Shit's done. That shit's done, bro. It's a fucking wrap. Fauci... he's over, he's 85 fucking years old. There's a good chance that motherfucker dies by the time that Trump can do anything about it. But apparently that was a campaign talking point beforehand. If McCarthy could get himself the majority in the House, they'd hold Fauci accountable. Still waiting on that one. So yeah, continue to kick the can down the road. Criminal justice reform and Alice Johnson and crime. I'm not aware of Alice Johnson. Then again, as a Canadian, not a Republican voter, but if I had the opportunity, I'd be voting for Trump 1,000% and 100 times over. The border wall and illegal immigration. Did talk about the border wall as well. Ben, were you even fucking listening? Of course not. You were too busy with crossed arms. Just, I don't like him. His third wife isn't a doctor like my wife is. Ugh. Now let me be present and partial list of issues Republican voters don't care about. Oh, really? John Carroll. Okay, so the undue weaponization of the judiciary on behalf... being levied against Republicans? No, I think that that's a pretty serious issue, but no, he just wants to talk about that. January 6th, CNN brought that up. First fucking thing. Georgia election questions. Again, he can only answer the questions that are levied towards him. National Archives documents. Again, it circles back to the top where it's all about the weaponization of the legal system and Alvin Bragg's allegations. Same fucking thing. Boy, howdy, Ben Shapiro. You do love reading yourself some partial lists and giving out some dog shit advice. These are all Democrats' top issues. Yeah, and what platform was he on? What platform was he on, Ben? Collins asked 0 of the questions Republicans cared about and all the ones the Democrats cared about. Is he this dumb? Is his tiny little hat on too tight and it's cutting off blood flow? So in other words, this was billed as a GOP primary night, and it was just Kaitlan Collins asking questions that Democrats have about Trump. Yeah, very good. Very good. Did you realize? Oh, yay, when you're playing a road game, you got to play by their fucking rules. God damn it. Republican voters sense this. So when Trump took out the kitchen sink and began hammering Collins to the wall with it, they cheered. Republicans will always and correctly cheer or biased moderators being steamrolled by Republican candidates, no matter what those candidates actually say. Cite the other fucking sources. Who else does that? Who else has, to use one of your people's terms, the chutzpah to actually take the fight to them instead of just, I'm not going to get down in the mud. We're going to take the high road. We're the party of losing with dignity. What year is this? 2003? Oh, right. It's not. Your fucking politics are just as bad as your socio-sexual positions. They're fucking 20, 30, 40, 50 years in the past. Trump wins more favor with Republican voters. Democrats remain off-put. Independents continue to wonder why they're relitigating 2020. Ridiculous failure by CNN on all fronts. Unless, of course, their goal is to renominate Trump for this ratings, and because they think that he's the most beatable. Note, this, by the way, is precisely their goal. Trump is the most beatable. Trump is the most beatable. Take a look at every fucking poll that is out there. Listen to one, just a single fucking interview by your golden child, because Daily Wire might as well just change their name to The Daily Wire, because it's a fucking Ron DeSantis propaganda outlet. Ron DeSantis, fantastic governor in Florida, does a lot of good things. I'm not too certain on his take when it comes to Disney, but much more enlightened people when it comes to that situation seem to have a different take on it. I think that he's waging a losing battle, but hey, that's for other smarter people to decide. That's just my opinion on it. When it comes to other issues, DeSantis pretty much fucking straightforward when it comes to that stuff. But the gap, and we're going to see this with the first Republican debate, which is going to be streamed on Rumble, so I'm going to have the opportunity to watch that in real time. Trump's not showing up for that one. We can take a look at everybody else who's going to be on that debate stage. Nikki Haley, Tim Scott, Mike Pence, Ron DeSantis, Vivek Ramaswamy. You know who's going to do the best in that one? The last guy that I named, because he's the only one who can actually have a fucking conversation like a real individual without coming across like a Hillary Clinton fucking bobblehead. Yo, Ron DeSantis, man, you're looking good by losing a bunch of weight, but holy fuck, dude. Maybe you should work on the strength of your neck so that it doesn't blow wherever the fucking wind does. It's pretty terrible. But Ben Shapiro wasn't quite done yet. This town hall hits everybody's pleasure centers. No, see, I'm so above all this stuff. Dude, you didn't even fucking listen to it, man. Like, I listened to it at a couple different times at 1.5 speed, so I heard all the bickering back and forth, in expedited fashion, but just trying to pass off this monumental W for Trump as just, it's just the junk food. We need to start talking about more important issues. This is the problem with these out-of-touch neocons, man. They don't fucking get it. CNN gets a broadcast outrage over the oh-so-troubling Trump. Trump gets the shellac of CNN house. The only people who lose out are those who are hoping for, some serious answers about serious questions. Again, you didn't fucking listen if you think that there was nothing serious addressed. How would you deal with inflation?
Drill, baby, drill. What we're going to do, we're going to start drilling for oil, because if you drill for oil, then you can lower the cost of everything else, and then things will start to go down.
Serious answers to serious questions. Yeah, and people do love their kayfabe. So is that a little bit of projection that we're seeing right there, Ben? Because we already know, going all the way back on this shit, that he's a motherfucker, just like the previously mentioned Hillary Clinton, that has a public and a private persona. Ben Shapiro sends out the representative every single fucking day. Same with the rest of those cabal of midwit, lukewarm takes. Daily Wire is going full fucking never Trump. It didn't work for you in 2016. Your tepid last second attempt to hop on the back of the Trump train was as transparent as everybody else, or was as transparent to see for myself and everyone else that you were just trying to get some of that extra clout after years and years of just punching air. I said many of those already established right-leaning conservative outlets would become a husk of what they are right now. That was even before all of the bickering shit with Steven Crowder, mostly because of dog shit takes like Ben Shapiro and the Daily Wire, not addressing the things that turn people away from conservatism back in the cut prior to Trump's ascendancy. Continuing to think that, oh, all we discuss is just the important issues. We'll never get down into the dregs of culture, drama. That's not about us. Oh yeah, sure. I'm sure over the weekend we'll probably have a Ben Shapiro plays popular video game pop up. What a fucking dork. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.